Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Halloween, the 2007 remake of the classic Carpenter film that came out in the 80s that I absolutely adore. And if you are new to my channel, I just reviewed that movie last week, and you should go check it out so you can have an idea of what I thought of that movie before you watch this one, because if you're watching this one, you're probably a horror film fan. And I've reviewed lots of other horror films in the past. Check them out. This movie is also called Halloween, so it has that going for it. Doesn't have a lot more going for it in my view. Now, there is one part of this film that I thought was very interesting. I don't know how much I liked it, but it definitely is something that is really stuck in my mind and something that I thought really kind of added to the franchise, but also kind of arguably took away from it, and that is this film's opening. Now, the original Halloween has one of the best openings in horror film history, where you have the vantage point of Michael Myers in the mask and going around and he kills the sister, all that stuff. Awesome. This one has a completely different opening, but I thought when I watched it, I was like, that's really interesting. So basically, this movie, unlike the rest of the films, sets up the character of Michael Myers a lot more. Now, obviously, like I said, the original does open up with young Michael Myers, and this one does too, but this one is much more about him in a sanitarium, where they have these interviews with Sam Loomis, the character that is in this movie, is played by Malcolm McDowell, which I thought was a very, very solid casting choice. I'm a big fan of Malcolm McDowell, and I thought nobody's gonna ever surpass the original Donald Pleasance performance for me, just because he is Samuel Loomis. But if you were gonna try to recast him, very solid choice. Now, the reason why I say I have very mixed feelings on that is because I think humanizing Michael Myers more is interesting, but also detracts a little bit from the character. Because there was somebody who commented on my previous film that I thought had a very interesting point about how and his channel is awesome. I'll leave a link in the description. It's Psychedelic Celluloid Signals, I believe is what it's called. I might be slightly off about that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. But basically, he said that he loved how the character of Michael Myers is really on the knife's edge between monster and human. And I thought that the effort to humanize him a little bit more takes away from that a little bit. And also, I didn't like it that much because throughout the rest of the film, there's not really anything else addressing what was set up there. He doesn't come across in any kind of a more human way that he did in any of the other films. So I didn't necessarily see the point in setting him up more as a character. There is one moment in it that I thought was really great from just on every level, where he's walking around the sanitarium and they set up a character that's played by Danny Trejo, who's the only guy who works there who is kind to him. And there's other people who work there to Michael. There are other people that work there who are not kind to him. And then eventually when Michael breaks free, he goes around killing everybody. And then all of a sudden you see Danny Trejo's character. And I remember watching it being like, this could be crappy, because you expect from movie history that if you have that guy that's actually kind to him, that he may leave him alone. Danny Trejo gets wrecked, and I thought that was just great how you set it up to build up one kind of expectation and then went completely the other way, in a way that completely understands the character of Michael, because really the only person that there is a little bit more of a pause before destroying would be Laurie, right? So I thought that was really great. Now, cast-wise, I thought this movie had some really interesting people added to it. I've already talked about Malcolm McDowell, and Danny Trejo played an interesting part. Brad Dourif is going to be great in anything he's in. Clint Howard is always interesting. Udo Kier, I believe is how you pronounce his name, is a very, very cool actor. That was cool. That's about where I can end off on any positivity on this film. My major problem with this movie is that I thought that it had too much of the Rob Zombie feel. And what I mean by that is every character in this film is just, the dregs of society. Even Laurie, who's supposed to be this kind of virginal, innocent, expert, awesome character, is much more dark and depressing and vulgar and everything. There's nothing to grab hold of. Like the whole series of Halloween movies is really about this this dark creature and going up against somebody who's kind of on the light side, and how that they interact with one another, and how he tries to destroy them and they try to evade him and all that kind of thing. And to make it so that every single character in this is rude and crude and badass and all that just really takes away from the appeal of the movie to me. Now, I'll say that it's much worse in Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but in this movie, I just thought he didn't understand what was so valuable about this franchise and what makes it different from the rest. I mean, this movie would have been a good Friday the 13th remake, because those characters, you don't have to have that type of character in a Friday the 13th movie necessarily. I mean, there are definitely ones that do, but that's not necessarily what those movies are about. I thought this was he just liked the mask, he liked the presence of Michael Myers, but I didn't think he understood what the charm of those films were, and what makes them work, and why they're the horror classics they are. And because of that, he added elements into it, and he changed characters, and he kind of perverted the figures in a way that I think personally really takes away from my enjoyment of the film. I'm not sitting here trying to say that this movie is a pile of garbage. I was not a fan of Halloween 2 at all, even worse than this one. But this movie could have been good if it wasn't Halloween. It's just, to me, this is just not what Halloween is supposed to be. And maybe if I watched this movie for the first time without having any of that knowledge of the original movies, that I would feel differently. But then, what is the point of calling it Halloween then? What are you doing? So those are my thoughts on this film. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I know this movie has a lot of fans, so I'm fully expecting some people to disagree with me, and that's perfectly valid. And I would never try to convince anybody to not like a film. Just telling you my thoughts. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It does awesome things for my channel. It makes it much more likely that other people will discover it, and that would just be freaking awesome. Other than that, if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Then you can find out when I put out new videos and come and check them out and join the conversation. And that would just absolutely mean the world to me. And please, if you can think of any way to get my videos out there more to anybody that you know, I would be endlessly appreciative. Other than that, have yourself a great day. Ding. Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you from my